Second.
Welcome to the Helen Plum Library Board of Trustees meeting for October 21st, 2025 at 7 p.m. The meeting is called to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have a roll call.
Allison Pinkett-Boyd,
Here.
Steve Wiggins,
Here.
Ginger Green,
Here.
Julie Kowalski-Smith,
Here.
Vijay Patel,
Here.
Kristen Atkins-Walsh.
Thank you, Jen. Ginger?
Yes. The Helen Plum Library Board of Trustees unanimously acknowledges that many indigenous groups once lived on the land where the library now resides. The library invites all to learn their histories, cultures, and peoples. The library board encourages our neighbors to explore learning opportunities through local indigenous-based organizations such as Midwest Soaring. And I would like to recommend a book called Buffalo Hunter Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. He also wrote The Only Good Indians. They are both fiction horror.
Ooh.
They're both way out there.
What's the author again?
Stephen Graham Jones.
Thank you, Ginger. Okay.
So PH or DE?
PH.
Okay, any public comment?
No.
Okay,
Thank you for being here.
all right, may I have a motion for adoption of the agenda?
I move to adopt the agenda. A second. That's Julie.
Yes, all in favor of adopting the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. May I have a motion for approval of consent agenda items?
I move for the approval of consent agenda items.
I second, Ginger.
Sue, would you read them?
Sure. Approval of minutes, regular board meeting, September 16th, 2025. Closed session board meeting, September 16th, 2025. Approval of financial reports, check register dated September 30th, 2025. Cash and investments report dated September 30th, 2025. Revenue and expenditures versus budget report dated September 30th, 2025. Balance sheet previous year comparison as of September 30th, 2025.
Thank you. Okay, any discussion? Question?
I have a question. I guess I never really noticed before that hoopla is anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000 a month. Is that based on the actual usage?
Yes, so Hoopla charges per checkout. I think the average cost. Okay, I haven't looked at it in a little bit, but it's usually around $1.77. But there is some fluctuation in those costs, but it is one of our highest used resources.
I know that sometimes I will download a book, but I think that's more from Amazon. Cause I know I'm not gonna read it right away. Do we know that these people have actually read what we're paying for?
No,
There's no way to track it?
No,
And even
don't-
if you did, what would you do with that information?
I'm not sure that we would be able to track that.
Right,
Very much like checking on a physical.
yeah, check it out,
We
if
have
it's
no
a book,
idea.
if you might get to it, you might not, if you took out a bunch, you might return it without reading it.
Yeah,
But to Sue's point and the expense. I don't know, do we have any negotiation room with Hoopla? Is that, they're just across
No.
the board, all
No,
libraries pay this per
they're-
checkout if you want this?
Their model is different than other purchasing models. It does give us a lot of flexibility and able to offer a lot of different titles that we otherwise wouldn't be able to offer.
Yeah, I use it.
Because
I
it's,
appreciate
there's
it.
over 1 million items on there or something. It's pretty
The nice
massive.
thing is that you don't have to wait.
That's the
Yeah,
other thing,
that's the real
right,
nice
you
thing. If they
don't
have the
have to wait,
title,
they
you can
carry
use
it, you can have
It's
it.
not by license, it's
Yeah.
by, it's just by check, it's like anybody can check out the same title.
Right.
Which is great for like local book clubs and
But
stuff.
we do have a cap on how many you can get per
Yes.
month. Yes.
Yeah,
So
and
that-
individually.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so,
I think
and
it's coming.
Yeah, it's not a
It's-
small limit.
we do, I mean, we
10,
increased it to 10 during the pandemic and then we opted to keep it that way because it is so high use.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It was just just curious, given
Me too,
how much
I was
we
curious
use,
too.
Yeah.
just how much we use it. Okay.
Oh, I do have a couple questions about that same page one of the check register.
Sure.
I was just wondering for, two things, elevated sign group, what was that, signage that we purchased?
Sorry.
It's on the top third of the page.
Yeah.
Check number 35.
Specifically, I don't know. I suspect it's for the, I wonder if it's for the vinyl that was installed in the services windows.
Well, which one?
The Elevate Sign Group. I can confirm that.
Okay, I was just curious, and then same with the furniture purchase, like, was that just a bill for stuff we've already gotten, or?
Yes, that was the remaining balance for,
More furniture.
yeah.
I know there's.
It's
stuff
remaining
just
balance for one of the furniture
stuff
orders
is
that
popping up
managed to
has been
spread 2
nice.
fiscal years.
Stuff downstairs.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the
Circulation
couches, I don't know if
desk
it was the sound panels, but
Okay,
yeah,
I
it
was
was
just
the,
curious, if there
What
was
was the
more
cost?
coming or the. And then I just had one other, did anybody else have a question on the check register?
No.
I had a question on page 2, of the revenue expenses versus budget report. It's page 17 of the overall packet. if that-
thank you.
It's just the percent of the budget. I was just curious, is, we're like 3 months in to the fiscal year.
Yes.
And we have for collection management, 67% of the budget spent. And I was just wondering, I hadn't noticed in the past, is that typical or is that just because? Is that more like ordering or actual books, or is it more
Oh,
like?
the collection management budget is how we pay for the platform fees, so some of those are just a once annual.
Yeah, okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Okay, I figured there was a
I
reason.
think we're at like 22%, I think, for the actual collections.
Okay.
27
27.
as of today.
As of today.
Okay, so that's more like a fee for this, like, service we pay for.
The collection
Yeah.
management is, yeah, the fees for
Okay.
the services.
Nice, okay.
The collection, everything above that, like the under adult collections, youth collection, teen collections, that's where you'll see
The
our
print.
material spending.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah, good question.
All right, anything else? Okay, all in favor of approval of the consent agenda items? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion. Moving on to committee and foundation reports. Audit committee would be Kelly.
We did not meet.
Okay, thank you for that. You took, Director Relations Committee,
We will have the presentation for the board self-evaluation in just a bit.
thank you. Policy and Bylaws Committee,
We did not meet, but we will be meeting on the November 6th.
thank you. Okay, and then Ginger, an update on the foundation?
Yes, so with the foundation, we have a large group board meeting coming up next week. We have made over $2,000 in the fundraising activities over the last 5 months.
Nice.
So that's great. We're working on our calendar for next year so that we have specific days to have the eat outs and book sales. So those are all going really well.
Does that include that Mia place?
Jimmy,
recently?
yes, we let's see, it was $250 some dollars, $256, I think.
Okay, it was really good.
It was
Just
very
gonna
good.
say,
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Ginger. All right, unfinished business, we have the Lilac Parade Committee creation slated for November. So I talked to Kristen about being the chair. I will continue to be a bug in her ear, but we're gonna get that formed.
I think she was interested in that and she had asked about, what the intention of the conversation was for today, and it was, I just said, we need to form the committee, so
Right.
gauging interest.
Okay, I would like to see the committee form because when we get to the other side of the parade, I want everybody to have gotten what they wanted
Yeah,
out of this, so, I told her I'd be happy to be on the committee and anybody else who has ideas should join, but I'm gonna ask her to spearhead it.
okay.
I think that's.
And then, Kristen had asked if someone from staff would be on there and we'll sort that out.
Okay, well, so what is the process for creating a committee? Like, what do we have to do besides state our intention and
I think that's,
select a meeting date? Is
yeah,
that
I
it?
think that's
Okay.
about it.
All right. So I'll have her get in touch with you, Jen, about a meeting date for November. Okay, thank you. Moving on to new business, so we have action item A, can I have a motion?
I move to adopt ordinance 2025-2026-009 tax levy.
A second, Ginger?
Okay, this is, you want to say something about this?
I do. So this year we are proposing a 2.75% levy increase. We've talked before where we can go up to 5%. We usually mark that at 4.99. Last year we did a flat levy, so we had no levy increase. The year prior, we did a one-time levy reduction that we opted not to recover in the next year. So this will be really the first year that we're having an increase in our levy in a few. Reason being, costs are increasing, demand for everything is not slowing down. We're busy and we suspect we'll need some additional staffing as well, and all of those things do cost money. So we're going for, it's about a $220,000 increase for next year's budget.
Thank you, Ann. Okay, this is a roll call vote.
Sue Wiggins,
Yes.
Julie Wallace-Smith,
Yes.
Ginger Grady,
Yes.
Peter Patel,
Yes.
Allison Pinkerton,
Yes,
Kristen and Kelly are passing.
okay, thank you, Jen. That passes. They have a motion for action item for B.
I move for approval of filing with the county clerk a certificate of eligibility to preserve the library district's right to recapture levy amounts in accordance with statute ILCS 200/18-9190.7.
A second, Ginger?
Okay, this is basically boilerplate, Ann, and this is what we have to do.
So this is a relatively new thing that we've been doing the last few years because it's new to the statute. Basically because we're not requesting that 5% increase. This says we can recapture that at a later time if
We can.
need
if
proves,
needed.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so we file it. I don't know that we'll ever use it, but we'd rather have it and then come back to it in the future.
okay, this is also a roll call vote, Jen?
Sue Wiggins,
Yes.
Julie Wallace-Smith,
Yes.
Ginger Grady,
Yes.
Peter Patel,
Yes.
Allison Pinkerton,
Yes.
Kristen and Kelly are still passing.
Thank you, Jen. Okay, the next action item. I have a motion for C.
I move to adopt ordinance 2025-2026-010, abating bond debt.
A second, Ginger?
Okay, Ann?
So this is our commitment to pay our bond debt. We have to do it, you guys.
Okay.
Okay, and for some reason it's a roll call vote. I know it's financial. Go ahead, Jen.
Sue Wiggins,
Yes.
Julie Wallace-Smith,
Yes.
Ginger Grady,
Yes.
Peter Patel,
Yes.
Allison Pinkerton,
Yes.
Kristen and Kelly are passing.
Okay. Moving on to action item D. I have a motion.
I move to adopt ordinance 2025-2026-011, establishing meetings for the library board of trustees.
A second, Ginger?
Okay. Changes, Ann?
We're keeping it on Tuesdays. There is it's Senate Bill 243. It's passed both houses. We expect the governor to sign off on it, but we did make a note that at the March board meeting, we'll be meeting the following day instead of on the Tuesday because it conflicts with an election. So that is new as of January 1st.
We're keeping third Tuesday.
Keeping
correct?
third Tuesday, so the dates are listed on page 34 of the packet, which includes the modified date for March 18th, but that way it will still be a regular board meeting as it's in the ordinance.
Okay.
And everybody will know in advance that we're not meeting on election day, so we can no longer have, we can I think that we met this year on election day as well, so that's no longer an option pending a signature. But yeah.
Okay. All right.
I also think it'll just be easier for you and staff.
Oh, one less thing to think about that day.
Especially since I'm sort of a, once in a blue moon kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so, all in favor of adopting the ordinance, as stated, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, action item. We have a motion for action item approval of holiday closure dates for 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, And anything on that?
Yeah, so, a couple things. The first thing is we removed unpaid and paid language off of this. We do have staff now that are regularly scheduled to work on Sundays. We didn't have that for years, so anytime we're not paying staff for time that they're regularly scheduled doesn't really sit well with anyone. And it also conflicts a bit with our policy, because the policy is simpler. It's if you regularly work that shift, you're paid for that shift. So we dropped that language. The other thing I wanted to mention is that our holiday closure schedule in general is pretty consistent with other libraries. I think it was Downers Grove Library pulled a number of libraries, 90 libraries in Illinois responded, and with the exception of the Sunday before Memorial Day and the Sunday before Labor Day, we are completely aligned with most libraries. What I wasn't sure from that study was whether or not those libraries were already closed on Sunday, so there may be some variability there. I like to make sure staff have a guaranteed 2 days off in a row once in a while, so I want to keep it the way it is, but I just wanted to let you know that we're pretty consistent.
Okay.
Okay. Again, I want to reiterate, I love that we're open 7 days a week,
Same.
because so many libraries are now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so every once in a while, we need a couple days. Sounds good to me. Okay, all in favor of approval of the holidays / closure dates for 2026, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. So we are at item F, which is anybody wishing to share their observations of the ILA conference that we attended last week. Anybody have anything they want to share or comments?
I attended a number of really beneficial programs. I was really impressed by some of the programs I sat through. Great ideas that came out of them.
Okay,
So, yeah.
nice.
I just, as other times I've gone, it makes me appreciate Helen Plum, our board and the Helen Plum staff and the building. Just because in some of the sessions, especially trustee specific, they were talking about issues that were coming up, then like, oh, we don't have that. Or we already have that policy cleared.
Right.
So like,
that was another thing.
yeah,
We
so
already
that
had a
was,
few.
that was really good and affirming to the work we're doing here. Some of the intellectual freedom one, especially the lawyer's point of view, was really interesting to me, and I took away
Agreed.
a lot from that. And then the iLead, the training that's available to trustees now, that's amazing. So there's a lot of really good things.
There's a certificate that can be received from ILE. You can go on and take their courses online.
Oh,
So,
Cool.
Which is nice. We think we found out that of course, we have to do the OMA training. But we found out that the OMA training has to be redone. Like, I know we all did it last year, everyone who was on the board at the time. But apparently after your election cycle, you need to do it again. So we were told about that. And then there was also a sexual harassment training that we need to, apparently by statute now.
yes.
So there's another one that we need to.
but they did say that if you take, like, we have to take it through work every January, and
Yeah.
if I can send you that certificate, and
Right.
that would
Right,
cover
that
us
was
for
the
here.
other
Yeah,
So
I
they have
will
questions like that.
follow up and just inviting you to participate in the training that we provide to staff.
Yeah.
And then anyone who has harassment prevention training through another employer, just let me know.
Yeah.
And that will just go on a spreadsheet that we keep with the staff's things.
Yeah, and then one other, in that same training, or in that same seminar, they talked about the FOIA training and our, a FOIA point person, which is Jen, I believe, right? Is our
And
FOIA
Alex
and
and
Alex.
Michelle Bauman.
Okay, so and then they all do the training.
Yes.
So does somebody on the board also need to do that, or?
That wasn't my sense.
Okay.
One of the people did say that their their executive director kept a FOIA, or whoever the FOIA team is, kept a folder with FOIA so that if somebody from the board wanted to check into it, they could. So if we don't have that, maybe we could.
So this
I
is
think we used to.
kind of great timing. We were talking earlier today about reporting FOIAs to the board as part of communication starting in the new year, where we just will have it as a spreadsheet that will get in the packet. So it won't necessarily have all of the documents that went to the individual,
Right.
but the requests.
Mhm.
And when we were reviewing the ones from this last year, I think we're gonna do like a lump review in January for 2025, and then as they come forward, we'll start reporting them
That'd be great.
month to month.
Okay.
But I think we had less than a dozen this year.
Yeah.
Oh,
That is less than a dozen.
yeah.
Are a lot of them, mostly, and obviously we'll get this later, but are they mostly like vendors asking for stuff? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
That's similar at our school district, but
Yeah.
I was curious.
So I went to one program on Tuesday, so it was before some of you came. And it was about using outdoor spaces in the library. And it was really impressive. And some good thoughts came out of that from the group in general. But one thing that we might think about in our big plan is some shade over on the north side of the building.
Like triangular shade things.
Or lattice,
Okay.
different kinds of possibilities for that. Because we
To
don't-
encourage use, right? So
Yes,
people are
yeah,
more
because
comfortable.
we don't have the land space that some people have. I think it's, it's not Bensonville, it's north. They have 12 acres.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh.
Barrington, yes. 12 acres of land. So they have all kinds of
Yeah.
pathways and
seating
things like that. And it's like, yeah, that's nifty.
and-
We have a patch between the
We have a parking lot and we're.
and
so,
the
great.
driveway.
And we're mindful about water flow.
But outdoor planting and shade over on the north side might be something we could do.
That's cool, yeah.
As well as bringing gardens into like the front area, not just some flowers, but if you wanna plant actual food,
Oh,
then
okay,
it could be donated to the food pantry and things like
Oh,
that. And that was
that's
another
good.
thing
that they did.
yeah.
I love it.
that, we
went
can still do
into-
the roof garden,
I
it's-
still am hopeful, after the solar panels.
I know, half of the solar panels, half of it roof garden.
Ran into our architects and our construction crew, so Jack was there and forget the tall guy who really oversaw it. It's not Tom, I don't know,
John.
John, yeah, anyway, they were great. Of course, they were displaying our library as
Yes.
one of
They
the.
did. They did
Oh,
that
yes, it
last month,
was,
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it was good, and it was good to see them, and I had a great time. I particularly enjoyed the keynote speaker. He was unexpected.
Yes.
He made a great analogy about dandelions being resilient, growing up between the cracks, having medicinal properties and not being a weed, right? And it was really an analogy for marginalized communities, which he felt, which he's a part of in multiple ways. But it was really good, and I enjoyed his book, and his whole presentation was just heartfelt. He did a really nice job, so yeah, thank you, ILA, because I would never have heard of this kid. So
Yeah.
he was great.
So I just want to say, as a first time attendee, I wasn't sure what to expect going into this. I think it was very, very well organized, very, very well hosted, a great conference, better than a lot that I've gone to, for work. So I was very, very impressed. And I have to say, library people are some of the friendliest people on earth. I got there early and I realized I'd forgotten my reading glasses, so I was walking back to the car and every single person that I passed said, "Good morning." And I said, then I was just like, okay, I'm not gonna say anything unless they would smile or they would, and I said, I've never ever seen this where you're going to, you're at the same event and people are not speaking to you, or they're just like, and this is before people had coffee, I guess, or whatever, so. And I was even talking in the exhibit hall to one of the vendors, and she was like, "Oh, yeah, take these, are all friendly." And I said, this is like, because my husband's in sales, so I've gone into trade shows with him. And some people are real nasty when you go to their table, and if they know you're just there kind of looking. And I'm like, all right, fine, if you don't like your job, get another one, is how I feel. But I was just telling her how this is so friendly, and she said, "Oh, we love coming here." So I think for me, just feeling all that positive energy
It was
in a
great.
space, it was more empowering than just even hearing all these other things, because I think it validates what you're doing and makes you really understand and appreciate that, yeah, I am fulfilling a positive thing and I have a purpose and I'm doing something great. So that was just my impression as a first time attendee. And I agree, there was a lot of good takeaways and I had a lot of good notes and things that I'm gonna follow up with.
And we had
with
a great
training.
turnout.
Yeah.
We're gonna send that clip to ILA.
Yeah.
That was great.
And
Yeah.
so staff as well, so
Yeah.
yeah, they enjoyed it. We
Fantastic.
certainly did. All right, thank you for letting us add that in. Anybody
Thank you
else?
for
have
going.
anything else?
Yes.
All right. Moving on to Ginger's presentation for the trustees' self-evaluations.
Just a second to get that queued up for you.
Not all the way around,
Wow.
forward, backward buttons.
This direction we had.
Doesn't matter.
Oh. All right, so our introduction, this is the second consecutive year, yay! Hopefully we will continue to do this on an annual basis because I think there's a lot of good information that came from it and everyone participated.
Is it?
There we go. So as an overview, and I will read this just for the people that are on the recording. This board is a well-working cohesive group. All members agreed that we have an atmosphere where we can express our opinions. We also feel that our board packet contains the information needed and that our decisions are in line with the strategic plan. We were very satisfied in a number of different ways. It was very easy to evaluate the executive director. We all are very satisfied that she creates a good budget, programs that are beneficial to the community, and a positive work environment. We feel that the board and the executive director discuss expectations and meeting the goals of the strategic plan, and that feedback is reciprocal. We agree and strongly agree that the board has effective communication with the director. We agree and we strongly agree to these 4 points. We are satisfied with our committee assignments within our board. We work towards a consensus within our board. We can freely express ourselves. We follow parliamentary procedures in our meetings. And the board is familiar with the mission statement and strategic plan of the library. We support the executive director and members participate in ongoing trustee education. And those can be all the different types of education, online learning, going to the trustee meetings at ILA, as well as the online trustee meetings. Board members as a whole read trustee materials, visit the library frequently, and participate in programs. We keep up to date so that we are able to talk to patrons, community members, or even the public officials about the issues and happenings at the library. The bylaws are well known to all members because we fully updated them earlier this year. Library policies are continually being updated, therefore they are familiar to the board. Yes, I did have to add the little girl in. Just to be everyone. There were some areas of improvements that were part of the comments. So these are direct quotes from the comments. Description of the purpose, goals for each committee. In the meetings, a pause before moving on to the next item. As a board, we do let the executive director lead us in the review of the policies. On a few occasions, I feel the director and staff have defaulted to pointing out burdens and obstacles rather than openness and willingness to take a fresh perspective and say, let's see how we can make this happen. Again, these are direct quotes, and these are things that we can work on as a group to improve our cohesivity. And the good stuff. So again, direct quotes. I feel the board members are willing to listen to the opinions of other board members, even when initially there are some disagreement. The summaries and reports provided monthly are really helpful. I feel discussions between the board, one-to-one, as well as board meetings are purposeful, productive, open, and professional. The decisions we make are always based on commitment to the Lombard community. I am pleased that HPL policies and bylaws are regularly reviewed and updated in compliance with legislative and utilization changes. The Helen Plum Library is truly becoming a hub of the community with the number and type of programs. I really appreciate the updated text as needed when some library business or incident may need to be addressed more urgently. Okay, any questions?
Thank you.
much nicer than having percentages.
Yes, and yes, this information is more useful, but the comment I made to Ginny was the fact that she tied the trustee evaluation in with the director evaluation. One fell swoop was just. You know, just one less step for us.
Just
Yeah. I was filling it out before I even realized. And done with it. It was very quick. So thank you again, Ginger, for all the work you and the committee did. Thank you.
I know, I panicked that I didn't fill this out when I saw something come in. I'm like, wait, did I miss something? I'm like, no, I did this already. Okay. I thought I missed something.
Yeah, because
It
it
was
was
so
anonymous.
smooth. It was
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
smooth.
it was anonymous, so I didn't know who I needed
Right.
to ask for. I was like, somebody didn't fill it out.
How many nudges do you send?
Mhm. Okay, moving on to the next item, which is the adaptive strategic plan framework.
Hey.
Another presentation.
Thanks.
I just.
So fun.
All right.
Oh, thank you.
Here with me one moment here. This worked in testing.
If it's not gonna be friendly, I can.
Yeah,
Try to
we'll
remember
just
my notes.
restart. Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I can see the notes at the bottom of the screen, so that's
Okay,
fine.
but it's not gonna advance in this. You have to click it.
Okay. Are we on two screens then?
We are on.
Or like two windows? Okay, thank you guys. So hopefully you've had a chance to review the documents that I included. We did want to talk through what this strategic plan is and what it means. And so we have an opportunity to discuss the plan itself and the goals. And then we can review feedback and come back to it next month. Um. No. Why don't we just go to the, I don't need the,
All right. Sorry, folks.
We tried
Tested
to
this
get
3 times
too
before the meeting, and,
sophisticated.
behaved better the first time.
And I hate it when it works when you tell them. Actually try it, it doesn't.
Yeah.
We've all done that.
That's what was happening to use today. I'm not gonna use it. I was doing 7 and 1 at the time, the first 18 months, with it. 4, 5.
Okay.
I gave it.
Sometimes you just gotta walk away.
So I do want to remind everyone how we got to where we're at now. We had a learning phase where we connected with stakeholders. We connected with the community and our patrons. All the way back in April 2024, we had a massive awareness and user patterns survey that went out. In August of 2024, we closed out on a customer service survey. In December of 2024, we did the collection survey. And then in May of this year, we evaluated programs and events. I believe there were over 1,100 responses in total to these surveys. After, so we're also connecting with staff as one of our key stakeholders. And the leadership team had a SOAR analysis with all the managers in December of 2024. And we did a SOAR analysis with all staff at our staff in service in March of 25. And with the board, we made sure to give community survey data overviews at 4 board meetings. We also had a strategic activity plan, plan activity summary in May of 2025, reviewing miscellaneous activities starting in 2021 and on, to close out that plan. And then we did our SOAR analysis with the board in August of 2025. So we did some legwork. We did some research. And then we asked some questions. So we thought about what connections can be drawn from stakeholder feedback. So all of our groups, what are we hearing from our community? What are our usage patterns telling us? What can we learn from what we have not heard? And how can we practically meet the expectations of our vision and mission? Which So we're asking these questions and we're also learning, hey, what is the core of what people are telling us? Our stakeholders very much value our library. The feedback was generally very, very positive with some requests for more. There's an emphasis on increasing and improving services and access. So the wait lists are a little long for some titles. I want to get in this program. It's always full. Story times aren't at every hour of the day. What can we do to meet those expectations? There's also a desire across all stakeholders to build connections externally and internally. Well, internally is mostly staff, right? But that like growing community connections. So connecting with Outreach House, connecting with our schools, senior centers, etc. And then internally having staff work across departments, learning and growing together. And then we do need to expand our data collection in a more meaningful way, even in reviewing our surveys, like, yes, they were helpful. But we had 1,100 responses from a community of 44,000 people. So what else can we learn and how can we get that information?
So the 11,000, we sent out multiple surveys,
So
right?
we had 4 surveys, the total responses were 1,100.
Oh, so, sorry.
Yeah.
Across.
Yeah,
all
which
four.
isn't terrible, because people took the time to respond to a survey. But that's not enough of the
Yeah.
story, right? And we do look at circulation, we do look at these statistics that we report to you, but we can look differently and more deeply at how people are using the library without, both with patron direct engagement and also without it. So just observing and tracking usage patterns and things. So, all right. That led us to the adaptive strategic plan. We wanted to be able to do a lot of things, but we want to have a flexible plan where we know, with changing circumstances that our plan can change with it. So what were the strategic goals? Essentially, it's access to resources and services. I have it, we're gonna do the truncated version here. Supporting lifelong learning and literacy, building community connections, and striving for organizational excellence. Really, I think it boils down to be a library and do library things. And this is how we saw it very simply, because we want to have strategic goals that are simple for everyone to understand and very achievable. So how do we reach these goals? We need a plan that is relevant, achievable, and transparent. We want to make sure that we have a direction for our long-term success. We want to make sure we have measurable outcomes and we can maintain momentum, because sometimes we get so caught up in the how can we do this and not let's try this. And we also want to be transparent in what we're doing and how we're doing and whether or not we hit roadblocks, whatever it is. But how can we be more transparent to all of our stakeholders? So the adaptive plan's strengths, why we went the route of an adaptive plan, is that it is responsive to change. We have these 4 core goals, or we can even call them values. We want to build a system of continual assessment. We want to make sure that staff are fully engaged in this process, so it's not just something that leaders are thinking about, but staff are thinking about in their day-to-day work. We want to make sure that this plan is aligned with our fiscal calendar so that when we're coming up with budget requests, it's tied to our strategic goals. And also we want to increase transparency. So we think we could do that with an adaptive strategic plan.
What specifically are we talking about regarding transparency?
So transparency is looking at, I'll give an example of a data dashboard where organizations have live data showing like total checkouts or how many people use the library, things like that. We report them monthly, but it's in our board report. This could be on the website. Additionally, when we're looking at our strategic goals, we want to build the web page around those goals. And then, actually, this is helpful. Year to year, we want to have priorities. So those are the focused tasks that we want to do for a 1-year period of time. Those priorities would go on the website so everybody can see them at any time. And then you'd have a progress report to say like, okay, here's a goal to increase access in this way. Here's how we have achieved this, or here are the steps, the initiatives that we're taking in order to achieve that larger goal. So when I think back to our last strategic plan, we had published the plan with a lot of different action items as possible or potential action items. Where we got a little lost on the way was that we weren't reporting regularly what we were doing. And we weren't framing our accomplishments month to month in terms of how does this relate to our vision? How does this relate to our mission? How does this relate to a strategic goal? So we really want to shift the way we're approaching strategic goals and strategic planning to make sure that it's at the forefront of the work that we're doing. And since we're past the building project, our goals are a little bit broader. And they need to be, because we're an organization that has this amazing building. We have a community that supports us. We have a board that supports us. We have an enthusiastic staff. That is a lot to leverage to move us forward on different actions. That was a long-winded response, and I hope I actually answered your question.
Yes, you did.
Okay. So again, I just want to walk through what this slide means. So at the top level, there are those 4 strategic goals. That will be assessed every 5 years. The second level there is our priority. That's something that the management team will look at annually. It's based on input from the board. It's based on input from the staff. It's based on input from the community. These are specific, actionable, and measurable goals that support the strategic plan. Beneath that are the initiatives. So how do we break out? How do we achieve this priority? First, you have to do A, B, and C. So A, B, and C are our initiatives. I'm not giving any examples because we haven't set our priorities yet, and I don't want to cloud what we're going to do. So these are specific activities that need to be completed in order to achieve a priority. And this is really going to be the work of staff. This is the work of committees. This is where we're working with our community partners. This is the nuts and bolts of the overall project.
So if any of this stuff needs, adjustments to budget, we will be so informed.
Yes.
Okay.
So when we're looking at setting our priorities, we're doing that in the, I don't know if that's our next slide. Oh, conveniently. We're doing that in the first part of the calendar year so that we are prepared to bring these proposals to the board as part of our working budget. So this will precede the working budget draft.
Okay.
And then we'll have our first initiative cycle really get rolling in July. Where we have our plan and we say, okay, here are our priorities. These are the things we need to get done. And then in December, we're looking at assessing where we're at and making any adjustments to the plan to say, hey, we thought this would take 3 months. It actually only took 2, so we tacked on this other thing. Or we thought this would take 3 months. It's going to take 9. So that we have a way to say, hey, this is the change. Here's why we changed it. Here's how we're moving forward. In January of 2027, which is going to come up faster than we know it, that's when our second initiative cycle begins. And then also we have to start that annual priority setting for fiscal year 27-28, but it is a wheel and it's going to keep on turning. And we will do our best to make sure we're keeping up with it, or we will adjust the plan. But key in both of those, in both December and June, is that assessment and adjustment cycle, because we need to be accountable to each other and also the community and what we're committing to doing. All right, so also we need to be specific in our goals. We need to use SMART goal setting so that when we have a goal and we're saying, hey, this is our priority, this is our initiative, it needs to be specific, it needs to be measurable, it needs to be achievable, it needs to be relevant and time bound. So all of these things will have a purpose and they'll be trackable because they're SMART. All right, so when we're looking at assessment, what are we considering? Ongoing stakeholder feedback. So that's again, feedback from our community, the board and staff. Through the current channels, or our current data collection channels, we'll continue to do SOAR analyses and whatever new channels we come up with. The biennial implementation cycle, which we discussed, what do we need to change, etc. And then did the outcomes match the stated goals? So we set out to do this, but actually why happened? And then let's discuss how that happened and what we do to move forward. Communication is critical. We want to make sure we have regular updates through staff and community channels. So this is communicating what we're working on, how this work is relevant to our vision, mission, and strategic goals, what progress we made, and whatever is coming next. So what is next? We are going to go through the goals after I close out this presentation. But just as a reminder, we're going to have some feedback today. We are going to present the strategic goals as written to the staff at our all staff meeting next week. And then we have it on the potentially to approve at our next board meeting. And then we'll start communicating it out to the stakeholders. You'll see some posters pop up and some things come up in newsletters and emails. And then we'll need to work on those priorities. So, yeah. Questions so far?
How are we gonna communicate to the stakeholders?
So that's in our e-newsletters, that's in our our print newsletter. I also anticipate having some posters where it will have the vision, the mission, and those 4 goals. So we start seeing those in the library. Yes, so
Print.
print,
Yeah.
email, website,
That's it.
internal signage.
So it'll just be a small blurb in the printed.
No, we'll probably do a spread. We did we did a bit of a spread in the, when we did the 2021 plan. Where it was just introducing how we got to these, how we came to this conclusion, but we'll probably have a page to just say like, hey, we are committed to this for the community. And we will likely loop that in with the priorities as well, since it'll go in the spring newsletter. The winter newsletter is already out, so.
Not to downplay this, but how many
Sure.
residents are really gonna be?
It's an
concerned?
accountability thing, like anytime the village or the school or a governing body has a new strategic plan, they usually push it out pretty far. Yeah, so. It's important that people know what we're doing and that we're transparent and accountable to those goals.
I will say, as working as a teacher in a school district who has a strategic plan, we do refer to it as staff. And there are parents who, you know, they tend to be the more involved parents, but there are parents who say, this is part of your strategic plan, what's happening with this? So again, it's not gonna be everybody, but it is a tool that we use both as staff and as parents and the communities.
I think, when I'm thinking back to the last one, I wanna say it was like the inside 2 pages, but it had a rendering of the library building. So really, I think this would need a page. In terms of just a nice concise, here are the 4 goals, here's how we got there. Do you guys remember all those community surveys we asked you to do?
Yeah.
Here's what we came up with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Maybe a call to action, like when you see the next survey, your input matters.
Yeah.
Hey, listen.
More responses would have a better outcome or something.
Well, and I think asking differently, we've talked about doing like post event surveys directly after an event. When we're looking to some options as well.
Right, we can encourage their participation.
Yes.
And it is a chicken and egg problem, right? People don't respond. So they say, what are you gonna do with this input? So if you show them the input, you're gonna get more responses, so.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah,
Yeah, and also there's just fatigue, Sunday fatigue, because we're at surveys nowadays, I feel like.
Mhm.
everybody wants you to take a survey,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Buy
factual,
something,
too.
oh, can
Yeah.
you take a survey?
So we can move to the discussion on the strategic goals
Yeah,
themselves.
item I, or item I should say.
Yes.
discussion.
Mhm.
What did you have for us there?
Are there any questions, any feedback?
Well, at this point, from us,
Yeah.
all you need is our feedback from tonight. Because it seems like most of the work is gonna be done by staff and your admin team.
So that, yeah, so the critical part is the pages 40 and 41 of the overall plan. And then the priorities will come forward with the budget requests. And that's where the board keeps their feedback with. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Any feedback on the language used? Are the goals clear?
I think it's clear.
Yeah, it's an involved process, so I appreciate all the detail.
Yeah,
And that you have a timetable for. how
everything.
to- Well,
Yeah,
just gotta track it, I mean, it's
you
a
have
lot.
to, yeah.
It's a lot, so great. And from there.
I think they look great.
Yeah, I think they match the connect, discover, grow, they can all connect to that access, lifelong learning and literacy. The
Maybe it's
community
just me,
building.
but seeing community building and then a picture of the building made me think you were talking about a building, physical building.
I don't think the graphics are finalized.
Okay, but I'm just saying, maybe it could just be me.
There may have been some white space and we said, let's just put a picture of the building. But I do think maybe it might be more effective to have like a staff photo or something a little more people in the library,
Yeah.
a little more human focused. because we built the building, right?
Yeah.
That's done.
Yeah, that project. Okay,
If you
Maybe-
think of some, oh, sorry, go
I
ahead.
was just saying, maybe something, I was just thinking of another word, like community, like you want, not just, not, or but like you wanna say you wanna strengthen. Yeah, or like strengthening the, yeah, like basically, right, that's what you're saying is,
Mhm.
when you mean the Lombard community, right, overall, or are you talking about the library community specifically?
It's the general community, like Lombard, our patrons, our people.
Yeah, I'm
that
just
visit
thinking
the
there's another
library.
word, like, engagement, but it's more,
I
because
will-
building is an action verb, I like that like
Yes.
you're doing something. And I agree that we are, but it just the word building is just too,
Community involvement?
like,
Maybe
not even.
engagement.
It's something, if I think of a word stronger, sorry, my Roger is not.
I will say, I think I had the same reaction. Do you remember we were talking about this?
Building.
Because we did so much with the building with the last
Right,
strategic
right.
plan, and the word
Yeah,
building
that
was
was-
probably 90% of the documentation there.
Yeah,
But I do think community building very much means something,
Mhm.
but if we can find another word, because
Yeah.
that was the entirety of the last two.
we're
strategic
engaging
plans.
the community,
Yeah.
reversing the order of the word, whatever it is, but we'll,
Building.
to be determined.
That would be my only comment.
All right, well, I look forward to hearing what's first up.
yeah.
January 2026.
Well, and it's a lot, we have so much feedback to
Yeah,
pull
right,
from,
I
and,
know.
and I'm like, there's so much opportunity here, it's a good thing.
Yeah. Good
Right,
problem.
if you think of something after the meeting where you're like, you know what, I reread this sentence and this doesn't make sense, please just send me an email.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. All right, that works. Okay, so moving on then to, next on the agenda, any communications? No, okay.
We did, so I wrote a letter on behalf of the park. They're seeking a grant for the development of the former library site. So I wrote a letter of support for them. I don't know, I figured I'd throw it out there.
That was.
But if you
nice of
haven't looked at the plans on their website, I encourage you to do that. There's a lot of potential there, and I'm optimistic for the community, because I think it could be a great thing for them.
One of the people at the exhibits was the people that are working on that project.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're doing the park district.
Yeah, they've got like like a small, like a gazebo area, like a,
So there'd be like little shelter areas, he said, no, they're not putting buildings up there.
not buildings, but like I think it's almost like a band shell, but on a smaller scale. There's like a little maze, there's a children's outdoor play area, but not like a playground, but like, more nature play.
Oh.
But it's on their website, and I would encourage you to look at it, because I think it could be really cool. So.
All right, moving on to the executive director's report. Anybody have any?
I attended the senior fair.
Yeah.
At the expo, I was there for like 2 hours. And, I got to meet our new marketing outreach.
Kimberly.
Yeah, Kimberly, I got to meet her. And, I heard one Illinois Lombard resident ask if she could sign up for her library card there, and I'm a little disappointed that she could not at that time. And I know I've heard that, at other times, at the senior fair.
Okay.
So there was a lot of people there. In fact, I didn't even know at that time that, oh, what's her face, who helped with the, the library card issue? Who used to be in my old building, Tara Costa Howard. I didn't even know she was stepping down to be a judge.
Yeah.
I didn't know that till, the expo date. I
Yeah.
didn't know that. I guess I didn't read my communication from her completely. I was surprised to
Recent
hear that.
change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Tara Costa Howard. I'm sorry if I interrupted you.
No.
Anything else from the executive director's report?
I would like to say, congratulations to Jen for becoming a full-time staff member. We're so happy to have her as full-time staff, so I can call you anytime now, as opposed to going, oh, she's not there now.
Or knock on her door anytime.
Yeah,
That today.
Yeah. so happy that you're full-time.
And the sensor for the elevator. All over the-
It's been like over a week now. It's
Oh
worked.
my God.
I want you to know, I took the elevator because of that. I saw that in there. I said, well, now I gotta try it.
I think we've all been holding our breath, like, will this stick?
Yeah. Is it still, yes, it's still working today.
Yeah. Yes, I used it today. I was so happy.
All right. Anything else? I think if not, moving on, then you guys have of mine.
Where's your name page?
I know, of course, I just slid it under something. Okay, thank you. All right, library activity report then, moving on to that. Any questions or comments? I just.
I have a quick question about page 46, the overall packet. Page 5 of the activity, interlibrary loans. I was just curious, is this an increase? Like, where would I have seen the other data, like 185 items lent and then 825 requested? I'm just curious, like.
So we do track that in our stats at the end of, that's on page 54. And that's where you can see month to month, the
Thank you.
comparison for July, August, September, and then the annual comparison.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any?
It's a lot to keep track of.
No, but
There
there
are
are, right,
fees.
but it's just a friendly exchange,
Yeah.
right? Cause I know I use it, so I.
Yeah.
Isn't there postage now and then?
We do pay postage, which is why we're a little out of whack on our, we're slightly over what we would expect at this time of year for postage, because we did have a surge in ILL requests. But we are going to start capping the Find More Illinois requests at, I think we settle between 12 and 15. So we'll see how that goes, just to limit it somewhat.
So does the requesting library pay or the providing library pays the postage?
So they send it to us, they pay, we send it back, we pay.
Oh, okay, so it's.
Slight.
One time each of us pays,
Yeah.
okay.
Usually less than the cost of buying that item, but
Right, and
Yeah.
some rare or
Yeah,
obscure
or
title
prints
that's
or-
used.
yeah.
I mean, I've asked for. a
like the
few,
fourth
so.
book in that one series that only got printed that one time. Yeah.
Well, I will say I have used interlibrary loan for requesting a translation of a mom about it. And I got this, and my sister wanted to read it many, many years later, and I requested it for her. And she was able to read the same one, so I like our interlibrary.
Oh, me
loan.
too.
It was awesome.
Yeah, same here. And what I don't find on interlibrary loan is available on Hoopla. Okay, anything else on the library activity report? Okay, then we are going into closed session. We'll take a 5-minute break and reconvene in the staff conference room. Here, the open section after we conclude over there. All right, so we are.
We need a motion.
We need, can I have a motion to
I
go into closed session?
that we go into closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees.
A second?
Okay, this is a roll call vote. Jen?
Sue Wiggins,
Yes.
Julie Foster Smith,
Yes.
Ginger Kearney,
Yes.
Deidre Patel,
Yes.
Allison Pinkett.
Yes.
Kelly Erickson.
Okay, we are.
Yes,
sir.
That's it.
5 minutes. Break.